get started with Rich Scarcella. And when I call on your name, if you could introduce yourself and your affiliation. Go ahead, Rich.
Hi, Stan. Rich Scarcella from the Writing Eagle and Media News Group. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it. I saw your interview last week with Steve Jones for Penn State, and I was just wondering what kind of impact did Ken O'Keefe and Joe Philbin have on your career, coaching career, and what do you think they saw in you 30 some years ago that that they wanted to convince you to become a coach?
Well, a tremendous impact in terms of just giving me a whiteboard and teaching me how to draw a circle, just understanding the game from its bare essence. And really appreciate those guys. They were relentless in that process early for me. A lot of grinding nights on just trying to figure out, just the essence of the game itself. So I owe a lot to those two individuals for where I am today, no doubt. I think as a football player, I was very relentless in my approach to being as good as I can be. I was a leader by example, I think. I was pretty quiet early in my career. Got frustrated with guys on my team or necessarily in my unit when they weren't giving the type of effort or the type of seriousness that I think the game deserved at that time. And they saw some of that outward conversations that I had with my teammates, and, I made guys better around me, quote unquote, from those guys, from Ken O'Keefe and Joe Philbin. So I think that's what they saw in me. They saw a future coach who loved the game, who was serious about achieving greatness and reaching the full potential in whatever it is I was doing at that point. And, they saw a coach in me when I didn't, so I'm really, again, thankful for those two guys.
Hey, Stan, John Sauber, Center Daily Times. What made you want to coach this year and not take the year off, and what made this the right situation for you?
Just found early on, just kind of idled down, tough time sleeping, missing the opportunity to coach. My wife does not receive my coaching very well, so I had to channel that energy somewhere. And really found out early on when lacking the sleep and just kind of itching to get around the game and always watching ESPN, reading, about football all the time, and found out that football was just coaching's my balance. This is going to balance me out, and everybody in the household is happy when I'm coaching, and they're not, can be very agitating to them when I'm not coaching. So it's just in me, and I just love being around young people. I love helping young people reach their full potential and help them achieve the dreams that they have for themselves, and I just think that's something that is my calling. So I just had to get back into it.
Over here on the right, Mark.
Hey, Stan, Mark Brennan from Lines 247. To follow up on John's question, can you tell us about the timing of this? Because this happened at a kind of interesting time in the coaching cycle. A lot of times people aren't hired. Sure. Were you anticipating? Were you trying to get back into coaching, or does this just kind of happen the way, like, organically?
It really happened organically. There was some conversation after Temple of me maybe joining in as a senior analyst role for other programs across the country. I had some interest in that area, had some calls that I entertained and still wasn't quite sure, but the longer I stayed idled, the more and more like I got agitated with it. And Coach Franklin was a guy who, I've known for years, and he called me right after Temple situation and just wished me well. And, if there's anything that he can do for me, just let him know. I can get around the program if I wanted. He invited me to come up and sit around, and I thought that time, during that time, it was real important for me to give my family that time that they've missed with me. And but as time went on, just got the itch again. So I think we interviewed on February the 10th, and it became really real that was something that I wanted to do. On this interview, I got even more excited about the opportunity, and I'm glad it took place on the 14th, where it was that time for me to make a decision on that. So very, very happy to be here, and definitely something that I'm excited to be a part of right now.
Back right, T.
Frank. Thomas Frank Carr, Blue White Illustrated. Everybody calls me T. Frank.
How you doing, T?
Good, good. How are you doing?
All right.
Back in 2020, you did a coaches clinic at Texas during COVID. Just generally, some of the things that you talked about were wanting your running backs to be students of the game, know the game, understand what they're looking at. And I'm curious, when you have two veterans like Katron Allen, Nick Singleton, I know you're just getting to know them. What can you provide them to help them reach that ceiling at the, to be NFL draft prospects at the end of their career, which I'm assuming is both of their goals are?
Well, it's unfair for me to say exactly what they need right now. I mean, those guys have had some really good production on the football field over the last years or so here at Penn State, and they're very, very talented individuals. And so I will know more the more I'm around them. The one thing that I try to pride myself on is identifying their weaknesses and addressing those weaknesses early on in their development while we're together. And figuring that out right now is going to, take a little bit of time. But, just seeing the big picture as a running back is really, really critical for their success. Being able to anticipate situations as opposed to react to situations is what's going to, keep them playing the game for a long time and also keep them healthy, right? So I don't know where they are in that level of thought process as a football player right now, but we're going to dive into that really, really soon here. And figure it out quickly and start addressing those weaknesses. But they all have weaknesses, right? And we're going to address those weaknesses early and often. Mm-hmm.
In the front, Tyler.
Hi, Stan. Tyler Downey from Lions 24/7. Welcome to State College.
Thank you.
Going back to Nick and Katron, 2 weeks ago, 2 Mondays ago, we had James here talking about what he was looking for in the next running backs coach, and the big thing was someone who's going to be right for Nick and Katron. So I'm curious during your interview with James, what was kind of the message that he got across about who those two guys have been for the program, and what has your first week or so been like kind of breaking the ice, getting to know them personally?
Yeah, so, the one thing he told me about those guys that they love the game. They want to expand their roles in the Penn State offense, expand their roles as individuals, and they have goals, right? They came back to Penn State for a reason, to elevate their status for the next level as well. And this is something that I've done for, over a 32-year experience as a coach, where I've taken guys no matter where they are in their development, and I've taken them to where they want to go. And blessings, I've been, very fortunate to be around some very talented individuals over my career, and to say the same about those two guys, I mean, they're right up along the same talent level as anybody I've coached to this point. So it's just a matter of, I know they love the game, and that's kind of like my deal. If you love the game, I got you. I can really make you do a whole lot of things because the game requires so much. And if you're serious about loving the game, then we're going to be a perfect marriage. And so during that time, me being hired here is just a matter of, me trying to set some standards in place for them, some expectations that we have as a unit for each other, and also what I have for them as individuals. We're still in the early stages of that, right? We're going to live through some experiences here. Winter conditioning starts tomorrow, and they're going to have a chance to see and hear my voice in a different tone, as opposed to just in a calm, setting over dinner, right? I'm very serious about their development, and when they tell me their individual goals, those goals become my goals, and we're going to be relentless in pursuing those goals together. So I'm looking forward to it. I know these are two individuals that care a lot about this team and care about a lot about where they're trying to go in their future, and that's exactly my mindset. So we're going to be a perfect marriage.
We're going to go back to Zoom. We got Seth Engel. Go ahead.
Hey, Stan. Seth Engel, StateCollege.com. What'd you learn most about being a head coach at Temple, and what are you maybe most excited for about going back into position coaching now?
You learn a lot as a head coach. The role really takes you away from a lot of the intricacies of coaching, because you're the CEO of a program, and alignment becomes very, very critical, from the top to the bottom. And now me coming back at this role, being a position coach, and having an opportunity to bring a head coaching experience of, an example of being aligned to Coach Franklin's vision for Penn State, is something that I think is going to be beneficial for everyone. And but again, I'm so excited to have my own room and actually be able to, hold a shield and set up a bag drill and actually running meeting room setting with those guys in an intimate setting. This is something that I really missed as a head football coach. I mean, I had those opportunities to present in front of a team, but the intimacies of you having your own unit, right, and getting specific with individuals to help them attain their goals is something that I missed. And the alignment piece is going to be critical. Again, the number one thing I learned from Temple is without alignment, it's a tough go, right? And here I've already seen the level of alignment that's from top to bottom here at Penn State, which makes me even more excited to be a Penn Stater at this point.
We'll stay on the Zoom. Let's go to Devin Jackson, Philadelphia Inquirer.
Hey, Stan, Devin Jackson with the Philadelphia Inquirer. Just wanted to kind of follow up on the question Seth asked, but what did you learn most about yourself in the last 4 years as a head coach at Temple that you can take with you now at Penn State?
I really do love the game. I love everything about the game. The one advantage of being a head football coach is that you do have the ability to not only develop a room, but and also set a standard of development for your coaches and your staff as well. And I learned that I was pretty decent at that point of it. I was able to really get people to buy into a vision and sell them on why the vision is what it is, right? It was all about developing the whole man. And, sometimes we get lost in the game of football of just, obtaining wins and losses, right? Trying to win ball games, and then you forget the development of the young man itself. And so that was one of the things that I enjoyed most at Temple is being able to give a perspective of when you develop the whole man, you develop a person that is going to be successful both on and off the field of play, and you're also putting a product out there that's going to be hopefully a great husband and father to individuals, and maybe hopefully a leader of young men in the process of doing that as well. So those are the things that I take from Temple that hopefully I could bring to coaches and even players here at Penn State.
Way in the back, Todd.
Hey, Coach.
How you doing?
Hi, Todd Sadowski with Fox 43 Sports and Nittany Game Week. I wanted to ask you about, you said the vision with Coach Franklin. Is that, I know Nick and Katron are very unique in what they've been able to accomplish together, but is the two-back system, is it ideal? Is that something that you kind of look for to have running backs be able to share the load so that it keeps them more fresh, keeps their goals in mind beyond college? What have you seen with the evolution of the game as far as what you're trying to create in the running backs room and competition there?
Well, I just think no question about it, for the durability of the individual itself, keeping tread on the tire, having competition in the room is all positive, right? To be able to share the load, that's going to be productive for Penn State's offense, right? Not just for the individual, but what's constructive and productive for what we're trying to achieve here as a football team. And the thing I love about, one of the first things I learned of the Penn State offense and day one being here is that, the best players are going to play. If they're in the running back room, if they're in the tight end room, then we're going to find ways to get those guys on the field. But for the individual, today's game, really, you really can't have a running back, one running back in a system and expect him to be healthy in the end of the year and obtain the goals that you have set for the program. So we are a very talented room. There's no question about it. Those two names come up quite a bit, but there's some really young talent in that room that I'm excited to put my hands on and developing. And, let's see what we can put out there to help us win some ball games around here.
All right, thank you very much, Coach.
All right.